What's the latest and greatest from corrupted Western governments? Well, if you donated to the Canadian truckers, those wonderful freedom-loving truckers who've been protesting in Ottawa, you donated anonymously. Most people use Give, Send, Go. It's one of the good crowdfunding sources, a lot better than that filth GoFundMe. Use Give, Send, Go. But anyways, setting that aside, a lot of people use Give, Send, Go, totally anonymous, send it 40, 50 bucks. Go truckers, buy them some eggs or whatever. It got hacked. Okay, already that's illegal. You're exposing private information. Now, what would an upright government do with getting access to private information? It would say, oh my gosh, one, don't show me that, that's private. Two, let's go after the guy who hacked it. What did corrupted Western governments do about it? They promptly took the list, looked at the list, and began firing the people on the list without a moment's hesitation. Ontario fired the director of communications. Gone, like that. Not the only one. People across the country losing their jobs. What did America's journalists do when a felony was committed? A felony was committed against these people who gave anonymously. You can't just hack and release anonymous data. That's a felony. That's a crime. What did America's journalists do? The journalists who always act like they're sticking up for the little guy, right? Speaking truth to power. What did they do? They started tracking down the people on the list and asking them questions. That's for real. And I don't just mean some random internet blogger. The Washington Post, I believe it's the second biggest newspaper in America after the New York Times. The Washington Post out there tracking down people who donated as little as $40 so they could harass them about why they would give to a protest. Now, who did the hacking? Who would do something like this? Well, I'm going to show you something, and I'll be honest with you. It's so deranged, it's a little bit difficult to watch, but do me a favor, I don't ask this a lot, watch and don't look away, because I do want you to understand the level of evil you're up against. This is the guy's name. His name's Aubrey Cottle. Look at what you're up against. This is what you face.
Nothing scares me. Nothing. Yes, I doxed the truckers. I did it. It was me. I hacked Give, Send, Go, baby. And I'd do it again! I'd do it 100 times! I did it! I did it! Come at me! What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do to me, huh?
Tough to watch, right? I'll be honest, it made me cringe. But it is important to understand that's what you're up against. Now, you may be asking yourself, why is he not behind bars? Why is he not in handcuffs? You can't just hack private websites, release private information. That's multiple crimes, right? You can't do that. That's against the law. Well, again, if you're asking yourself that, you don't understand what time it is. You're allowed to break the law as long as you're on the side of the regime. Yeah, he hacked a private website. Yes, he released private information, but he released the private information of people the regime considered to be enemies. Therefore, he's allowed to get off scot-free. This is no different than that Black Lives Matter guy attempting to assassinate a mayor in Louisville and getting released on bail the next day. January 6 protesters are still rotting in D.C. gulags as we speak. When you have corrupted nations that are completely evil, like we have now, this is what you get. And look, let's be honest. We're all in the same boat here. Canada's justice minister, I want you to listen to this person. This isn't some random lefty internet blogger from Berkeley. This is the justice minister in Canada. Listen to how they talk.
Look, you've just compared people who may have donated to this to the same people who are funding maybe a terrorist. I just want to be clear here, sir. This is really important. A lot of folks say, look, I just don't like your vaccine mandates and I donated to this. Now it's illegal. Should I be worried that the bank can freeze my account? What's your answer to that?
Well, I think if you are a member of a pro-Trump movement who's donating hundreds of thousands of dollars and millions of dollars to this kind of thing, then you ought to be worried.
You hear how they talk? Remember, these are considered to be the leaders of free countries. Does that sound like a leader of a free country? Is that what that sounds like to you? Do you think he sees himself as just a servant of the people, a leader of a free country? Or do you think he sees himself, as I've explained to you 100 times, as a higher class, as a king who should be able to rule over you, do as he pleases, and squash his enemies? Listen to this person. This is the big dog. This is the PM of Canada, Justin Trudeau, calling a bunch of truckers who don't want to get a vaccine Nazis.
If Canadians are to trust their government needs to trust Canadians. Those are the words of the Prime Minister in 2015. These people, very often misogynistic, racist, women haters, science deniers, the fringe. Same Prime Minister 6 years later as he fans the flames of an unjustified national emergency. So, Mr. Speaker, when did the Prime Minister lose his way? When did it happen?
You're right, Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, Conservative Party members can stand with people who wave swastikas. They can stand with people who wave the Confederate flag. We will choose to stand with Canadians who deserve to be able to get to their jobs, who be able to get their lives back. These illegal protests need to stop, and they will, Mr. Speaker.
Hey, thanks so much for watching The First on YouTube. If you liked what you saw, go ahead and like and subscribe. You heard me. Like it, subscribe. You'll get a lot more of it and a lot more of me.